Hi, Cassandra Greer. Thank you so much for joining
Hi.
Heartlands Media.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I think it's very important that we really address the situation. So I'm just going to give a short intro, and I would like you to start from the very beginning. So first and foremost, we are all dealing with the horrible situation of COVID-19, and knowing that we're dealing with this crisis, a lot of people are affected by this. And you have gone to many local media outlets and platforms in regards to telling your husband's story. So without further ado, I ask everyone to please pay attention to this and please share your story about what happened to your husband during these past couple of days when he passed away on April Easter Sunday.
Hi. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on to allow me to tell my husband's story. It began the beginning of March. My husband was incarcerated at the Cook County Jail. Um, he was in Division 8 on Dorm 3F, and that division is a dormitory unit. There are no cells, there just one open space where 50 gentlemen share. So I was keeping him abreast of what I was seeing on TV as far as what Mayor Lightfoot and Governor Prisker were saying because it was really new and nobody really knew what was going on, what the symptoms or anything were. So I was keeping him abreast, and it was two sick gentlemen on his tier with him, and I was telling him the symptoms, and he would when I talked to him every day on the phone, he was saying, Cassandra, they appear to have these symptoms. So I said, Nicholas, don't worry. We're going to take precautions. Take your T-shirt, wrap it around your nose and your mouth. When you call me on the phone, wrap the T-shirt around the phone. Make sure you continually wash your hands. Try your best because they had no sanitizing products that they could use. So I was just trying to, just tell him different precautions to take and things that I would see that the CDC was saying and just anything I can do to help him. So as time went on, I began to call because I needed to tell someone that it was two sick gentlemen, even though I'm not a doctor and I can't diagnose. But my husband said that they possess some of these symptoms that, were symptoms of having the coronavirus.
Right.
So I continually called to no avail. I got no answer. So I was telling my husband, because my husband was perfectly fine. So I was just telling him, please, I know it's hard to social distance because you can't when you're in one open living space with 50 other men. So just do your best. So March, this was like the second week of March. So I was calling, didn't call very many times. I really don't have a specific number, but I was calling just trying to tell someone that my husband was, on this unit with the two sick gentlemen. So March 29th is the first day that my husband had a symptom. He called me and he said he had a sore throat. I told him, do not worry. We're just going to pray about this. It's just a common cold. Now I'm calling more and more because now I'm getting afraid. But I don't want him to know that I'm scared because I don't want to alarm him. But I'm calling more and more to no avail. Let me step back. To March 29th. Finally, one sheriff answered the phone for me and let me know that due to the pandemic, they were short staffed. There were no social workers available for me to speak with. There were no sergeants available for me to speak with. I said, okay, so what can I do? She said, you can leave your name and number. I will have someone to call you back. I left my name and number. No one called me back. And from March 29th until my husband was finally taken over to John Stroger in ICU, they never answered Division 8's phone again. I called Tom Dart's office. I also called Cermak, which is the hospital on the compound, on the jail compound. At Cermak, you have to leave a message, and someone did get contact me back. But she informed me that due to me not being an inmate or an employee, she could not speak to me about anything. She couldn't tell me anything. She couldn't help me. I said, ma'am, can I please tell you something? She said, you can tell me, but I will not be able to help you with anything because you're not an inmate or an employee. I said, my husband is housed in Division 8. He has two sick inmates over there with him. I said, ma'am, from what he's telling me, I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to diagnose. I'm just trying to help my husband and the inmates. They have symptoms of what Governor Prisker and Mayor Lightfoot has been saying are symptoms of the coronavirus. She said, ma'am, each division here at Cook County Jail have a nurse. And if a nurse feel as though an inmate is sick, they will send them over to the hospital. I said, well, ma'am, according to what my husband has said, I don't even know if a nurse has been on their tier, because if they had, they would see that these two individuals were really sick. Because now, don't forget, this situation started like the second week of March. This is almost mid to end March now. So the gentlemen have gotten sicker. And I told her, she said, once again, if a nurse felt as though an inmate was sick, they would send them. So I got no help from anywhere. From March 29th, my husband's health declined drastically. It went from a sore throat to a fever, from a fever to chills, from chills to 100% weakness, to where so he couldn't even stand up and talk to me on the phone for the entire 30 minutes. They finally transferred my husband April 6th to John Stroger Hospital, and he passed away April 12th at 4:20 a.m. He was already, when he made it to Stroger, he was already in a severe stage of COVID.
I send my deepest condolences to you and your
Thank you.
entire family for the loss of your husband.
Thank you so much.
Um, for our viewers and subscribers, could you, in case you said it already, but can you please repeat the number of times you actually called Cook County
I
Corrections?
I called 132 times. And the reason why I know that is because the day that my husband died, I was so devastated. And I just thought, I said, Cassandra, just go and see how many times you called, because I just needed to reassure myself that I did everything that I could do to save him. And that's when I counted the calls.
Mm. Okay. I understand this is going to be a very difficult conversation to have, but in regards to then talking to any medical personnel when your husband passed away at the hospital, as well as anyone at Cook County, what did anyone in any of these institutions say to you in regards to your husband's passing? Was there any kind
Well,
of talk
let me
about what was being done with other inmates?
Well, let me just tell you this. Cook County Jail didn't even tell me my husband was gone finally to the hospital. Another inmate called me. I haven't heard anything from Cook County Jail, from Tom Dart's office, from anyone. The medical staff, the doctors and nurses at John Stroger were absolutely wonderful to me. I called around the clock and they welcomed my calls. I'm talking about from morning to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. They, each nursing staff, each doctor, his doctor who took care of him called me every day that he was there. He told me about the condition. He also informed me that my husband arrived in a severe state, and he let me know that I was keeping hope, because my husband was breathing on his own, but he was having a really, really hard time. And he was on a CPAP machine, and the doctor just explained to me how the coronavirus and the COVID-19 go. It could be good one day and drastic the next. And, they were just keeping me abreast and just trying to be hopeful with me. And I was blessed to speak to my husband on April 11th at 7:30 p.m., the day before he died. He died at 4:20 a.m. that morning. And he was having such a hard time breathing. And I just told him just to sit back and relax, just lay back and relax. And I just prayed with him and let him know that I loved him and I needed him, and please try to fight this, because my husband was a very strong man. Like, I know if I would have got somebody, just one person kid to answer the phone for me, he would have beat this. I know he would have. If I would have been able to get him help.
It's okay. You did whatever you could do, and I think it's important that we hear your story. So, what I want to ask now, and in case this hasn't been asked by other media outlets, but have you reached out to any of the other political leadership? Anyone in Springfield, your House
Oh,
representative, your House senator, anyone from Governor J.B. Pritzker's office or Mayor Lightfoot's office? Because I know that sadly, and I hate saying this, COVID-19 is everywhere. And even in the Cook County prison, there's probably other prisoners and other individuals like yourself that are dealing with the exact same thing. Has there been any response from any political leadership within the state of Illinois?
not as of yet. Not as of yet. I'm waiting. I have a petition going, and also I'm outside protesting daily. I'm going to continue to. So I'm waiting to see what anyone has to say.
Okay. Now, there's always a talk about fighting and bringing awareness. Um, Essentially, you and another group of brave individuals are protesting in front of the Cook County Corrections Facility. Can you please tell us exactly what exactly led to this? Who's organizing it, and has it gotten any kind of response from anyone there at Cook County?
Well, you know what? No response from Cook County at all.
Okay.
But myself, Miss Carolyn Ruff, we are out there daily. God is blessing. I have more and more people coming together to help me. Mr. T.O. Hardiman from Ceasefire came out. Dr. LaShawn and Miss Amina. These are people that they organize Black Lives Matter, a Women
Mhm.
of Faith group. So they have been helping me. More and more people are just adding on to help me. And I just knew, Kid, that I had to get out there and do something because see, I couldn't save my husband, but I
Mhm.
still see the other gentlemen and young ladies in the window that have signs up that saying, please don't let us die. And please help us, our lives matter too. And I know that they could have made wrong, bad choices. My husband could have made bad choices, but that's why we have a judicial system put in place for them to go before a judge. My only thing was, I wasn't one of the wives saying, kid, please let my husband go right now, just let him go, because guess what, I'm a part of this society. I don't want everybody let free, the murderers and the rapists. And no, all I was saying was, please just protect him, let him be safe. And something that really hurt me, if you can protect the child molesters and the child killers while they're in jail so the other inmates won't harm them, you could have protected my husband. That's all I'm saying.
Um, and now I'm pretty sure we don't have the exact numbers, but I mean, to the best of your ability, to people who you've communicated with, what is the current health situation within the Cook County Corrections Facility? How many more other individuals are showing signs of COVID-19?
Oh my God, it is horrible. I don't have the exact number, so I don't want to say, but it is in the high hundreds. I mean, like over 500. I just spoke with an inmate yesterday. Just he was on the same tier with my husband, and he was just calling to check to see how I was doing. He tested positive for COVID, and he's still on the same tier. So guess what? Somebody else is gonna catch it. Somebody else is
Hmm.
gonna have it. It's just gonna rapidly go through the Cook County Jail, and it really
Right.
hurt my feelings when they're saying, "I'm glad the judge ruled the way that he ruled," and he's putting a lot of things in place that was supposed to go into effect today. So that was a blessing as far as like the sanitizing and the closing of the dormitory units that like my the one that my husband was on. But before that happened, when Mr. Dart was putting things out here in the paper as if things were rectified, that wasn't true. I was still talking to people that were there, and it just wasn't true. And I don't want to sound insensitive because I understand that Mr. Dart might not really know. He might, because he might just be listening to his staff or the workers or whatever. But that's why sometimes we need to go inside and see for ourselves.
Our live stream chat is right now blowing up, and a lot of people are with you and are sending their deepest condolences to you and your entire family for the loss of your husband. But there's other individuals too, because not only did he pass away, but there were 7 others that passed away
Yes.
as well.
Oh,
But I think it's important before we do continue on. A lot of people are asking, where can they find your petition? Is there somewhere online where we can
yes.
find out? Usually I save this question for last, but a lot of people are demanding this in my live stream chat, and they want to know, where is the petition? Where can they go? Can you give them an exact web address, please?
Yes. It's on my Facebook page, which is my name, Cassandra, Cassandra, Greer, Greer. And I also created a page for my husband, and it's Justice, Justice, 4 FOR Nick, Nick.
All right. I'm going to have to ask you to repeat that again one more time, just in case
No
people want to write it
problem.
down.
For my Facebook page is Cassandra, Cassandra,
Hmm.
Greer, Greer.
Hmm.
And my husband, I created a page for him. It's Justice, Justice, FOR Nick NICK.
All right. Well, I think you're going to get some much needed support from our viewers and subscribers, because this is a clear case of injustice. And look, everyone should be held accountable for their actions, but we are humans nonetheless, and we have to treat each other humanely. There were 7 other individuals that also passed alongside your husband as well.
Yes,
Have you spoken to any of their family members
I
in
have.
regards to trying to build any
I'm the
more further momentum or awareness about what's happening in Cook County?
every time I do an interview, annually ask. I'm sorry. Every
Oh,
time
it's
I do
fine.
an interview, I always welcome. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. But every time I do an interview, I always welcome the other families to please come and stand with me, because we're stronger in numbers. And I haven't had a response. So I'm just out there by myself. But, and also, if I can also say this, because I know a
Go ahead.
lot of people, when I do interviews, I see a lot of people say, well, he was a convicted felon, he was this, he was that. That could be very well true. My husband, according to society, was, he was going to have to go before a judge, and a judge was going to, he wasn't convicted of anything. He was just there to put in a motion for a trial. All
Mhm.
I was saying, and all I want the world to know, is that he just deserved to be treated fairly, and he deserved to be, his death could have been prevented. All I wanted him to do was to be protected. That's all. That's all. And if one person would have just answered the phone for me and just heard me, my husband would still be alive.
I want to ask you 2 quick questions before we do end this interview. And again, thank you so much. This is again very serious, because again, there's no cure, no vaccination for COVID-19. But if you had the opportunity right now, let's say Governor J.B. Pritzker, Lori Lightfoot, and all of Illinois leadership and city Chicago leadership and Cook County leadership were right in front of you right now, what words would you want to share to them in regards to what you have been dealing with, what other families like yourself, what other family members like yourself are dealing with right now?
I would let them know that my husband's death could have been prevented. I need them to take a closer look at Mr. Tom Dart and the Cook County Sheriff, because
Mhm.
I called 132 times. They're more than welcome to subpoena my phone records to count those times that I called for themselves. If one person would have did their job and just answered the phone, what rights do I have as his wife, as Nicholas Lee's wife, to help him? What more could I have did? Where else? I called every number that they had available. What else could I have did? If one, my husband wasn't even sick, and I would just ask Governor Pritzker, Lori Lightfoot, you guys, please. I'm sorry, I don't know what keeps happening,
It's
but
perfectly fine. Don't go ahead. Please
if
repeat
one
yourself. You got all the
person,
time.
if they could have, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Because I can't hear you now. I'm
Oh, that's
sorry.
fine. Go ahead.
I can't. I can't hear you. But if one person would have just did their job and helped me, my husband would be alive. And I just would like for them to go, and Tom Dart needs, in my opinion, needs to just go ahead and go. And we need to start over fresh and new with new rules, new laws, and they also need to equate in help for the families.
Okay. Real quick, can you hear me again, or is this a no? I hope that's not the situation and we have a technical error. Oh, I I don't know if she can. All right, so we got a little technical error. I do apologize for this inconvenience. But real quick, I just want to just I think it might be working. Hold on, let's try it again. All right, can you hear me now, Cassandra Greer? She might have hit the mute button. All right, I do apologize again. But real quick, we are going to be wrapping up this interview. Again, she gave the links to where you guys can help her out. I think it's important that we all do we can to build a better future and step up, because there are other people like Cassandra right now that are dealing with the same kind of situation. And I don't think there's anything else that can be done. But at this point, I do want to thank her for her time, for being here. And I am going to do another follow-up interview. I do promise that to all of you guys, our viewers and subscribers. And I'm just going to send her just one quick message online right now, telling her that that she's got a lot of support from all of our viewers, and that we can't thank her enough for all her support. But with that being said, everyone, peace to you guys, and let us all do we can to build a better future. Take care.